All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL Major League here. Unfortunately, we have seemed to have ran into some technical issues here in the client. It's still beta, so obviously these things can occur from time to time. And it seems that we are unable to get into game number 3 here between ESC and Gamers 2. So there is the potential that that is played at a later date or even later on tonight. Not quite sure just yet, but ESC were actually calling for the draw because at this point in time that they have no opportunity to really kind of get too much further. Actually, I think it was Gamers 2 that was calling for the draw because they just need 1 point to actually go to first place anyway, and it was 1-1 in that circumstance. So now we're going to be moving on to Fnatic versus Well Met here. Into our second series of the day. A little bit sad, Todd, but these two now, let's put that behind us because these two teams have got it all to play for. Basically, whoever wins this actually has a very brilliant shot at actually making the playoffs.
Yeah, can you hear me still, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so we're just gonna play the other series and then play the last map of the ESC Gamers 2 later, right?
Maybe, yeah, if the players are still up for it. I mean, it might be a little bit prolonged here and they may have had something else in their schedules later on tonight. I'm not sure, but
okay,
we'll figure that out as the night goes on.
All right. Let's get the draft started when these guys are ready.
Yeah.
Well Met is ready.
They seem to be, and now we're just waiting on Fnatic. Did you manage to note which map it was when they were doing all of this?
No, there was so much chatter about what we were going to do in the accounts and stuff.
Yeah, it was a little bit hectic there, guys, so do bear with us as that took a little while longer than expected. I've never ran into that bug before, that's the problem. Neither have some of these guys in here as well, so we are just waiting now to figure out what is going on. Let's see what they actually banned. They banned...
Nothing yet.
Dragon Sky Temple.
Yeah, in terms of heroes, okay.
All right, we're on Cursed Hollow. Let's get into the draft then here to start things off in this next best of 3. This is the final best of 3 of the group stage, and Well Met have already gone and banned Zeratul.
Yeah, which against Fnatic, you know, you have Lowell who can play very, very mean Zeratul, so it makes sense. On a map like this too, it can be very strong. You can blink in from afar, you know, from one lane away. And do a lot of damage with your poke. The Void Prison is also going to catch quite a few people here and there. You can either bubble wipe or isolate very well, so it makes sense to ban something like Zeratul.
Let's see if Fnatic wants to go on to the other side of things and actually ban out an Illidan and have that melee meta ban go full fruition. Actually, no, banning the Stitches to start things off. So there is still an opportunity here for an Illidan comp to come out. I've less seen Well Met doing that, more so Fnatic doing that, but Well Met is going to pick it up actually.
Okay, since Stitches is gone, Hammer here would be nice. Picking ETC very quickly as well. Like ETC has really become, you know, one of those main go-to tanks that you can go for. I really don't like. It's weird because like a while back, you know, with Brightwing being so strong, it was getting first picked so much. But now that he's been so heavily nerfed, and you know, all the supports are like kind of equal, nobody first pick supports anymore here.
Yeah.
Which I guess is okay.
It's all about the damage at the moment, man. With the way in which people like Valor and Hammer have set themselves on this plinth of being so powerful, they are very, very early picked. But Chen is going to come out as the first pick here for Fnatic. And we've actually seen Chen a lot on Cursed Hollow in the Major League. Ever since the very beginning of the newest patch, El Nexo was experimenting with it a lot, using the Wandering Keg in these narrow paths, these narrow halls around where the tributes go down, and it can really, really hurt. ETC as well, wow, so all the frontliners disappearing into the Fnatic hole here.
Yeah, getting a good tank here is going to be tricky for Well Met, but Fnatic didn't pick away either Tassadar or Rhaegar, so no, Well Met definitely could go for those. But I guess those tanks at the front, they don't really care about Illidan, so it's all going to be after that, you know, about getting some good assassins in the back and getting a good support that can do well against an Illidan comp. But in the front line is just insane right now. Like, Stitches was already banned too. Like, in terms of tanks here, Well Met, they are going to have to at least go for one. Who do they go for? Is it Arthas? Is it Muradin?
I think it's Muradin. I think they go Muradin. We've seen Wellmet playing a lot with Muradin throughout the entire time here in the Major League. And even though we haven't seen him in the past week as a whole, I think this is a prime opportunity for them to actually pick that up. So
yeah,
maybe we'll see that come out. They pick up Valor for extra damage here. I mean, they had all the room in the world to pick what damage they want now, considering Fnatic went for such a heavy warrior lineup to start off their first 2 picks.
if they go for Arthas instead of Diablo or Muradin, then Nazeebo pick will be really, really good on Fnatic, I think. Because so little interrupt.
That's true. That is true. Well, they're taking the sweet time about this next choice here, as they've got the damage that they need, but what are they going to do from here on out? I think they may want to actually go for healer at this point. Something so that they get proper first pick on a healer, whereas Fnatic, they're never going to take any more warriors from here on. So, oh, but they're going to take Hammer, so huge damage. That is basically the 3 best damage dealers you can have on your side.
Yeah, I thought they might go for Rhaegar, actually. The thing is, for Fnatic to get Rhaegar now, I don't know if it makes too much sense. So they can still take their time in terms of support. Like, what do they really need to add right now? I guess...
I think they could go Rhaegar, you know, because Ace of Spades almost swears by Rhaegar. Whenever I see him playing it, he seems to have a real comfort zone on Rhaegar. So there is the potential. Yeah, there we go. Ace of Spades, as I say, he absolutely adores playing Rhaegar.
Yeah. You think Nazeebo here is likely? Like, since there is so little interrupt on Wellmet's end, like, you're never going to see Hammer get a close-up on Nazeebo to knock back.
But one of the frontliners left is Diablo, right? So if they did go Nazeebo and Wellmet is forced into that position of having to take someone like a Diablo on the other side, I mean, I still think it's going to be Muradin, don't get me wrong. Like, I still think it is going to be Muradin, but if a Nazeebo came out, then... But I think they have no other choice other than Nazeebo.
I guess it was really good by Wellmet to delay the pick for their tank here, because they're really leaving themselves with a lot of option. They took one of the best, you know, assassins and damage dealer with Hammer. Hey, attackers coming down here makes sense. Like, I don't think they had too many, you know, very viable options with the comp that they have. Like, they got the front line, they got a sick hitter. Now they need some hard damage.
Yep.
So Tychus on this map is gonna make perfect sense. Nazeebo would be great as well. I think. I don't know what else though. I don't think that Falstad really seems so much weaker than before nowadays.
Yeah.
Nova or Tyrande or Raynor, I don't feel like they will be that good. Zagara could be okay.
I think they're just waiting for the picks to come out from Wellmet, and if it leaves room open for a Nazeebo, they definitely go down that route.
Yeah.
I think...
If Muradin is picked now, though, I really don't know that they can go for it.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out in a second. Wellmet are taking their time about this last pick, trying to deliberate. Basically, it's going to be Diablo. They were anticipating the Nazeebo pick coming out as that last one, so they're trying to deny that. Definitely. There's obviously, you know, it's not bad anymore. You know, Diablo has worked his way in, but I'm pretty sure they're trying to deny the Nazeebo pick here.
Yeah, they want to feel the wrath of the Gargantuan, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
So on Wellmet, I guess we should have Hero K on Uther, Gurdam Herd on Hammer, Hazu on Vala. On Diablo, I guess Nomi.
Yeah.
And then Illidan would be... Who's their last player again?
I can't remember all the players, man. It was written down somewhere on my notes for a while. But actually, I haven't cast Wellmet for a long time. It's funny that I haven't actually cast them for a long time. And fully enough, Wellmet at the start of the season had a few fluctuations in their roster. So they had Shadowmare in there for a while, for example. Is he still on their team? He was a sub at the beginning, but regardless of that. And it's going to be Tassadar. So a really interesting lineup from Fnatic. They don't exactly have anywhere near the damage that Wellmet has, but they have a really strong front line. So this is going to be quite intriguing.
If they play Tassadar as like a damage dealer, you know, on level 7, they get damage talent, and then again on level 13 and 16 as well, then it makes sense to go for this comp. Either that, or they're not going to have too much damage to work with, but then they bank on themselves having so much sustain that they're going to win the fights anyway in the long run, if they can, you know, stay alive and don't die to target fire.
Now I'm just trying to figure out how I can actually get into this game, because at the moment I don't know if I have Zoke on my list. He did add me, but for some reason he doesn't show up, so... Do you have players on your list to actually join off, Todd?
Not any of. Oh yeah, yeah, Hazu actually.
Ah, okay. Okay, well, I can join off you then if you have Hasuobs. All right, so we're in our next best of 3. Unfortunately, we had to delay our first best of 3 going into that game number 3 because we had a few technical issues there. But ESC, unfortunately, with them actually dropping a map during those first 2 games, they had to push it onto a best of 3, meant that they can't actually qualify for the playoffs anymore anyway. So Gamers 2 have put themselves in a good spot. They were always in a good spot to begin with, and they will be advancing on to playoffs at the 30th, 31st, and 1st.
On Fnatic, it should be Ace of Spades, Rhaegar.
Yes.
ETC, Freds.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Lowell plays mostly Bruiser usually. Like Lowell having to go into a tank. No, actually, no. Okay, so ETC, Lowell, Shen on Freds. But then I guess between Tassada and Tychus, it's gonna be Kessil and Shinobu. Not sure which one will pick which. Maybe I guess Tassadar for Shinobu.
Maybe, yeah. But it is an interesting draft. But the way both of those compositions actually work out, you don't have much damage on Fnatic's side of things, whereas you have massive damage on the side of Well Met. So can the sustain outlast this massive torrent of aggression that we're going to see potentially from Well Met? It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Asking Hazu, who's hosting.
Okay.
Yeah, these comps are like so different than the ones we saw earlier today or even the day before.
Yeah.
Like right now, even though there isn't like too many heroes in the game just yet, it's already so diversified. Like we see quite a few of the heroes used. Like a very few of them are not used often in matches, but other than that, there's like the main, I would say, 15 to 20 heroes that rotate very decently. Obviously, there's going to be some that you see more than others. But still, we do see a quite decent amount of them.
Yeah, and imagine what actually occurs when we add like 10 or 15 or 20 to that pool. It's going to be extremely exciting. Obviously, some of those will rise to the top and some of them will fall by the wayside. At the moment, Vikings is one that is very interesting, actually, because people see it as a powerful hero, but it hasn't really worked its way into the meta into the most competitive games. If you could make it work, it would be amazing. But at the moment, nobody's found the proper way to utilize it yet in the meta. So these kinds of things happening along the way, it's going to be cool how things work out. It's going to be cool.
Okay, lobby's up. Let's go.
Yes, I am in as well, and hopefully we can get going. So we do apologize for the small delays that we've had here during the tournament, unfortunately. But that's just the way things are. If we've got bugs here and there, then we just kind of have to deal with them from that point on. So I'll tell these guys to... let's get going. As we have 5 people ready to go. Gerdam Herd is actually on Illidan at the moment. Did they actually? Yeah, they did get Illidan through. So if Gerdam Herd's going to be playing Illidan, then we could see Hasu having... he's found quite a strong home actually on Hammer. I see him playing a lot Hammer, not only on stream, but also in this tournament as well. So he's really kind of taken the mantle of Hammer away, but maybe he doesn't feel as confident on someone else like an Illidan, whereas Zoke at the same time feels more confident on the Valor. So they're playing to each other's personal preferences because, say for example, Hasu doesn't want to play the other two. We have seen
I think Gerdam practices quite a bit of Illidan. I think he's like the one on the team that will play an Illidan with Zoke, but more so, on Gerdam. Like Vala is definitely, I feel, easier to get a good grip on and play often and all that. Yeah. So Gerdam, I think he plays probably a significant amount more than Zoke, if he still used to play, as much as he was back in the AAA days, when once upon a time we were teammates. So it makes perfect sense that he'd be the one going for it.
Yeah, definitely. Right, well, we're just waiting for a few more of these players to ready up, and then we will be jumping into game number 1 here in this best of 3. Again, this is all to play for. Both of these teams at the moment sit in between that 4th to 6th spot range, where if they win, they could basically make playoffs. So you then enter the money, you then enter the opportunity to go on to the grand final. The playoffs is actually a double elimination bracket, being a semi, 1st versus 4th, 2nd versus 3rd in that semi-final. And then you have an opportunity in the lower bracket, and it's all best of 5s in the playoffs. So those series are going to be really, really exciting. It's a long, drawn-out process, but it will determine for sure who the better team is across a whole lot of maps, because also importantly, there's no maps repeating in that best of 5. So crazy, crazy stuff.
Yeah, in terms of drafts, I mean, again, both teams have so much potential, with the Apocalypse most likely going to be the one picked. Here, I don't think... You think we could see Fire Breath out of Diablo here?
Well, they almost forced away the idea of Nazeebo, and Nazeebo is not in the game. So there is the potential for Fire Breath, but they've got so much damage behind them with the Illidan, the Valor, the Hammer. I don't think they need to that much. Maybe the lockdown and just trying to focus someone whilst that Apocalypse has actually caught someone would be strong.
Yeah, it's just so annoying, like especially on a map like this, where a lot of the time you're gonna be very clumped up. Like that Fire Breath could do a lot of damage.
True. Very true. But then again, so could Apocalypse, technically. Well, anyway, let's get into game number 1 here in this best of 3, as we have over on the left-hand side of the map, it is Fnatic. Ace of Spades is going to be on Rhaegar. Kessel's going to be on Tassadar. Freds is on Shen. Shinobu is on Tychus. And ETC will be played by Lowell. And then on the other side, Nomi is going to be on Diablo. Gurdam Herd is on Illidan. Zokke is on Valor. Hiruke is going to be on Uther. And finally, Hasu Obs is running on Sergeant Hammer. Okay,
so in terms of lanes, they sent Heimer top because they knew that at bottom, you know, he can get pushed back by Tychus. If he was there by the grenade, he can get jumped by even ETC, pushed around. So they play the mind game of basically saying, we know that you're going to stand the tri-lane bottom, so we're going to go top to try and basically outpush you. And outpushing a Hammer here is going to be almost impossible for Fnatic.
And annoyingly, because we were given a second account here, I don't have the overlay for the talents. So this is going to be a bit of an interesting cast. I'm going to have to check tab every so often.
I have it.
You have it? How? Yeah. Why don't I have it? That's...
I don't know.
Quite sad, but yeah.
Didn't you put the interface in the main folder?
I did, yeah.
It's like a Heroes generally.
I don't know why it's not coming up, but... Oh well, we're going to have to run off the tab for now. Sorry guys for this game number 1. We can probably fix that for game number 2. So a few problems here today, but it all stems from a bit of a bug that we weren't able to control. But wow, look at the amount of damage they already did to that bottom tower. That was pretty quick there by Fnatic.
It's weird, like, they could have outpushed Fnatic, but instead they said, well, we don't want to let Illidan alone as a melee hero at the bottom against 2 ranged hero plus Rhaegar. So they run down there, they do rotation. They try to catch the opponents, but, I mean, you can't really kill anybody on the Tassadar plus Rhaegar lane with anybody.
Let's quickly take a look at the talents while there is a slight lull here. Advanced Artillery, Conjurer's Pursuit. I'm trying to find if there's anything out of the ordinary. Soul Feast on Diablo is something that's contested. Sometimes you see the extra 50 souls one coming in. But it's good. It's good.
I think Soul Feast is the best by far that you can get on level 1 personally. It's my favorite build. Vala not going for multi-shot build, by the way.
Where are we on Valor? Yeah, that's true. Rancor, so a full auto-attack build potentially coming out of Zokke here, which is something that we don't often see. And then going over to Manticore as well. So no doubt level 20 will be Nexus Blades unless he feels himself in a lot of trouble there going on forwards.
No revelation here for Ace on level 4. Feral Hearts. Interesting. Like, this can really help, you know, in using the feral form, you know, to regenerate a lot faster, kind of stay out of the fight, get back in there, heal, do some attacks, and then pull back when you're low on hit points, regenerate hit points faster, and mana. I guess on a map like this where you're going to be brawling so much, it kind of makes sense. But at the same time, you know, getting some good revelations here and there and seeing where the opponents are can be very helpful too. Yeah,
it's not only brawling. I mean, you're running around in wolf form up and down the map all the time once you get into those 5v5 situations. That you're in wolf form for a lot. So for that does help out quite a bit. As at the moment, Freds is doing all right in middle, doing okay on his Chen. And this 3v3 will just continue down towards the bottom. Kessel's mount, his Tiger, with that skin, looks great, actually, when he ends up mounting up. Very, very color coordinated.
It's so funny, at top, they know that trying to capture the tribute is not going to be successful, so they don't even try. And now, finally, we have Illidan trying.
Well, gets pushed away though, and Freds will go up there, leaving some of the experience in the mid lane for Zokke to actually pick up. And actually, with the amount of time he spent actually clearing that, he's going to get back down because he wouldn't clear it too quickly.
And they got the tribute, so this was definitely pretty nice here for Fnatic.
Alright, Shinobu takes a bit of damage down to the bottom. His infested Tychus looking pretty cool as well. Let's check in those level 7 talents as they come in. So, double first aid, it's going to be searing attacks to extra boost that auto attack potential here from Valor. And then we have the usual suspects of cleanse and battle momentum going down on Diablo.
It's so funny because like so many teams or compositions, they will try to look past Shen and ETC, and they will try to go straight for Tychus and Tassadar, but I guess since there is a Rhaegar plus the shield of Tassadar, Zokke on Vala basically says, well, I'm gonna have to go through the front line first and take out down those tanks in the fight, otherwise it's gonna be too hard. So instead of going for multi-shots, he goes for some sort of auto-attack build, you know, with Rancor, Manticore, and I guess with searing attacks, he's still gonna deal a lot of damage to those tanks and possibly take them out.
Yeah, definitely, especially if later on it starts scaling up with Giant Killer, etc., taken as talents to really kind of push those guys down. And then, again, if we see at level 20 the Nexus Frenzy come out, then, oh my god, she'll be doing a huge amount of damage if she gets in the right position to do so. So it'll be interesting to keep tabs on that. We will keep on throughout this game as it continues.
Why is Zokke going top here? Rather than staying bot, this is a bit weird.
Maybe want an early kill on Illidan. He doesn't have much room to actually jump out. Sorry, on Lowell even. He doesn't have much room to actually jump out here.
Did some very decent damage. They might be able to get him. I can't believe they killed an ETC like that.
He was so far pushed up, right up against the wall. If you can't see the Valor as she's coming through the wall, obviously, until she springs right on top of you. So Lowell with a little bit of a misstep there.
Yeah, they're gonna lose, I guess, a bit of XP for that, but Ace of Spades is there to soak as soon as he can, and then level 10 will be getting, I guess, reached by both teams here.
Yeah.
At about the same time, just before there is any major fight. Only one kill has been made so far.
Alright, whoa, Draken Laser Drill's been taken here for Tychus. So that is a bit of a big difference. Everything else is, again, the usual suspects.
Oh, by the way, Drill, Stage Dive, and Apocalypse picked for ultimates. Interesting. Especially the Drill.
Exactly.
With two tanks like this at the front, he can use the Drill, and then he can just deal a lot of damage physically himself. After giving away the first two tributes, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Wellmet to win this fight and secure this one.
Here comes Lowell. The stage dive in was pretty darn quick. Valor's up at the top. This is a 5-on-4 at the moment. Wellmet need to disengage. They can't really do a whole lot without Valor. And Zokke slightly out of position there, but he had to account for that. Obviously, ETC being at the top as well and stage diving down can always make it a 5-on-4. So it's harder to split push here as Valor in that instance.
Yeah, I think Zokke kind of made his own call here of not partaking in capturing the tribute. But in the end, a very quick curse like this early on in the game, it almost always feels like it's never going to do too much. Like the lanes weren't particularly pushed. I don't think there's too much that's being killed. Like you see in experience, it's not really translating into any kind of big leads. And Wellmet, they realize that right now, Fnatic is probably doing their boss, and before they even finish it, they went for their own, because they know that if they didn't start it early enough, they will be contested. And they should be able to finish it before the fight begins.
Yeah, they should. Lowell might try and contest it though himself. He power slides in, trying to get onto that point, gets pushed off though. Here comes the Apocalypse. A lot of them do a good job to avoid it, but Freds did manage to get hit. There's the Metamorphosis. Dragon Laser Drill's going to come down. Nomi's going to take a little bit of damage from it, but the drill falls instantly. So not really part of a game plan there at all, as Lowell's going to have to run on out. Gerdheim Herd goes in very, very far, and the Illidan will end up falling eventually.
Yeah, finally, after like almost a whole minute of fighting, Illidan falls, and then behind this, when you're 4 versus 5, it's very difficult to do anything. Diablo gets caught and kills. So, yeah, 2 nice kills here by Fnatic, who are just gonna have to defend the boss at top, that are gonna be there to defend it earlier, and especially a boss that's not as healthy as theirs at bottom, which is gonna do a little bit more damage. So, I guess they're gonna get a lead, but not the biggest of leads either. Fred's doing some good work, by the way, at the top, getting one of the 4th there.
It's going to be double Relentless Shrink Ray, Healing Surge on Rhaegar, as well as Lead Rain coming in for Tychus. So again, guys, trying to keep you as updated as possible with those talents as they come in. Obviously didn't have the overlay here with the second account that we've logged into because of those bug issues, but we can keep on going. It's going to be hard camp for hard camp here. It has to having to teleport back to get some extra mana, and well, Freds and the team so far on Fnatic looking good. I liked that they were able to push down that fort to begin with and make that boss all the more stronger as it was pushing down that bottom lane.
Shrink Ray against an Illidan really is a no-brainer to me. Like, it's an obvious choice.
Yeah.
It's just so good overall. The double Relentless really going to help as well. Because, you know, the stunts of Uther in particular.
Double giant killer taken, Todd, on the side of Well Met. So those tanks...
Against double tanks, they need that.
It's yeah, definitely. But it's going to do a lot of damage if they end up straying too far forwards. ETC's gone back to a split push up at top. So if these guys get a little bit too frisky, he will be able to jump on down. And they're going to try and hunt down Lowell, but Lowell could easily just stage dive out of there.
You know, they actually could have gone for triple giant killer if Illidan had gone for it, but it chose Sixth Sense instead.
Sixth Sense, very powerful. Very strong. It's almost, I mean, for Illidan, it's the build, right? Like, it's very rare you actually see deviations away from the build, because it is so strong, and that's really what makes him potent and tanky moving on forwards.
Triple Town Portal. He's going to come and reinforce at the bottom here. And Fnatic fully knowing that this could be the case, are pulling back for now. They could have tried to be greedy and steal the easy, but I guess they don't particularly want to take a fight just yet. They're hesitating here a little bit.
And they see everyone up the easy camp. That will be taken here by Well Met, and they will just pull back for now. Okay, still doing a good job with his oracles, actually. Able to spot them whenever they move on forwards. And this might be contested. I mean, it's only one tribute, of course, but Well Met would like to get themselves on the board with that tribute, especially before level 16 hits in. So they could try and rival that location.
Are they?
Ooh.
Are they trying to go and get the keep rather than fight for the tribute?
Yeah, they may be.
Well, was a bit far out of position. So they're going to react very slowly. They're coming back to defend rather than pick up the tribute. They're trying to catch the players here of Fnatic. And Lowell is actually far away, so they're going to have to pull back. Oh, they're going to get 16. This is so smart. They just pull back, get 16. And now they might be able to fight before the tribute is even ever taken. So ETC stays at top. He has the stage dive to escape anyway.
The threatening of that position at mid to then rotate back towards this, that was a phenomenal little move there by Fnatic. It was very simple, but executed to perfection. And they pick up that tribute, get the 16. They knew that, well, Net would want to fight before 16 kicked in. That was really cool. Really cool.
Look at the ETC. He was like waiting in the bush, waiting to stage dive.
Wow. That was a really nifty little move there. No fighting, but just brain smarts and that alone. That was cool. And now they are level 16. They could take a pretty strong fight if they wanted to, taking those talents. It's imposing presence, stone skin, second strike, pressure point, as well as blood for blood coming in there for Fnatic on this side. Across
that is getting chased a bit.
Ugh.
Fully realizing that they are lacking a little bit of damage, Fnatic, they go for a second strike on Tassadar, which I think is definitely going to be nice, you know, in doing a lot of damage, especially against just a Uther to heal. That means that he's going to have a very hard time keeping up, you know, with all the damage, with all the poke that Fnatic has, you know, in terms of, you know, be it grenades, double storms, and all that. So that's definitely nice. Basically, they're going to force a hard engage happening from Well Met into themselves, at which point they just take the fight and ideally for them win it.
Very heavy positioning game, and there might be this situation where both teams take the opposing team's boss because of the vicinity that they're in at the moment. Nomi is checking this location.
Yeah, but thanks to that spawn location on tribute, they're going to get that as well here, Fnatic. So they're just going to be one tribute away from securing yet another curse, which, remember, last time that Well Met did that early on in the game, they couldn't stop the third one from being taken, so they were cursed. If this happens again, they will be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and also the positioning of the boss here allows Fnatic to aid their boss up to the top, probably a little bit quicker and pressure this wall faster than what we're seeing here from Well Met, who have to TP and actually support their wall, so they're not going to be able to support their boss to try and push on forwards, which again works in favor of Fnatic.
ETC actually TP'd back now. I guess he has stage dive to rejoin his team, if needs be. Fnatic are doing this so well. Like every time there is something like this happening, you see a Well Met playing it very safe and staying 5 together. But Fnatic, they never engage. They just pull back, they regroup. they push elsewhere. You see, like, they're taking down the wall here, while ETC was still, like, kind of soaking XP at the bottom at the same time. Now they're going to pull back, and this time, they're going to fight for the tribute and the curse.
Double blood for blood, imposing presence, hardened focus, as well as Hover Siege Tank comes in here now for Well Met at that level 17. And it will help them, level 16. And it will help them try and rival this location, but Fred's waiting in the bush, already able to jump in here. Is he actually going to pop that Wandering Kick to try and go on forwards? Lowell comes in with the stage dive. Nomi is in a bit of problems as the Dragon Laser Drill will come down as well. It's going to be focused down pretty fast there, though, by Gerdheim Herd. And is he going to end up falling? He's taking a lot of damage here. The Shrink Ray is on top of him, so he's not going to be able to get out of this position too fast. So much AoE damage with Shinobu on the overkill drive to actually kill them off.
But Hammer is being left completely alone in this fight, so he's doing a lot of damage. But if the entire front line dies, I don't think it's gonna matter.
Oh, Fred saving himself with the shield on the keg. So close to death, but they don't bring him down. And Fnatic get a really strong 3-for-0 trade, and the tribute allowing them to push on forwards with a curse.
They went solo on hit points, but in the end, like I told you before, with that double tank, they have so much sustain.
Yeah.
Rhaegar plus Tassadar helped so much in keeping all of those heroes alive. And in the end, even though they went really low on hit points, they went to heal with the Moonwell right behind this. And now all of a sudden, they're in a situation where they not only cursed, but they're still a bit of a timer on two of the heroes, so they're at least going to get one keep here. Yeah.
Picking this one up in mid is very, very nice for them. Also, the top keep is being pressured and taking quite a bit of damage from the minions actually up there as well. So at least now Well Met have respawned and can push this away, but they're going to have full map control for a little while. They could just take any hard camp, easy camp on their side if they want, easy camp on Well Met's side. Has been spotted by these mines there for a second, but denying that is a bit annoying.
There is a very short window right now during which Well Met is going to have some quite a few ultimates and Fnatic won't, but since they are cursed, there is no way they can exploit that, and they didn't know as well. So they're just going to stay home for now, Well Met and defense, and as soon as all the ultimates are up, I'm pretty sure they're going to be engaging once again. Apocalypse is still 10 seconds away.
Got to delay for a little bit, but as they delay, level 20 will be coming in pretty soon here for Fnatic. Compared to Well Met, there are a whole level behind them at the moment. So with the hard camp being taken on this left-hand side, Well Met are going to try and strike forwards into the map a little bit, but they can't really stray onto the other side too easily. It takes a long time.
Yeah. Fnatic, as well as they've done this game, like now it's 0 tributes to 0. They're only one level ahead. The best way they can exploit their leads is to make sure that they play, fairly passive up until level 20 and then get a good fight with level 20 against level 19, most likely.
Yeah. Well, they're going to try and put down a bit of pressure on this wall, but Fnatic are more than happy to actually jump on in. Wandering Keg pushing away Hasu, so a lot of the damage is being mitigated there for a long time. He had to boost out of that position. Here comes the laser drill again. It wasn't as quickly got on top of. The Apocalypse is not going to really stun too many of them there. Continuing to chase on Gerdheim Herd is going very low. He will end up dying. Hasu does not have his boost, so he is almost surely going to die as well.
Look at the sustain here. For Fnatic, once again, nobody dies.
Yeah.
They're full on hit points. All of their heroes. Rhaegar did a fantastic job of healing everybody. Tassadar shielded them left and right. And if you kill 2 heroes at this stage in the game, level 18, there's going to be enough of a timer on them for you to go and finish the game. So in the end, the sustain of Fnatic, the entire game was just way too much for Well Met.
Level 20s came in. Nexus Frenzy on Tychus is going to shred up these heroes if they're not careful. Zoc is going to end up falling to the pressure of that, as well as double Storm Shield, Hardened Shield. And that is going to be all she wrote. Fnatic take game number 1 with an extremely sustainable composition there for game number 1 in this best of 3.
As if all of their sustain wasn't enough, by the way. Shen went for Hardened Shield here at the end.
Yeah.
And both Rhaegar and Tassadar took even more armor as well as the level 20. So, I mean, they just wouldn't die, man.
Yeah.
I don't know another way to say it.
That's true. I am going to try and log in my account, and hopefully that's working, and then all the settings will be exactly the same. But for now, we're going to go to a short break, guys. And when we're back, we're going to have game number 2 between Fnatic and Well Met here at the ESL Major League. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL Major League here for game number 2 between Fnatic and obviously Well Met. We are actually in the bans and picks already, so let's jump in and finding out exactly what's going to be going down on Dragonshire here for game number 2. And Fnatic have their first ban available to them, and I'm trying to think what they would actually ban in this regard. Maybe... I don't think Illidan, because I think they wouldn't mind going for a first pick Illidan. So maybe something like a hammer here for their first ban.
Am I in the wrong link? I see nobody ready yet.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess you're in the wrong link. They've actually banned Uther to start things off, which I wasn't really expecting. So this could become very, very interesting in regards to the healers, because there are only a few that are really, truly top tier. When you see an Uther ban come out, oftentimes you will see Malfurion being worked into the mix. And actually Malfurion has a good shot of doing things down at bottom shrine in bottom lane on this map. But let's see what Well Met does, because if they banned a second healer, then all hell breaks loose. That's where everything gets really, really crazy. Have you...
Okay, I got it.
You got it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, Nazebo. Another good ban on this map. Again, his zombie walls have got really good spots on this map where they can be extremely irritating. And obviously, Ravenous Spirit is a lot of damage.
Yeah, with Uther and Nazebo here being banned, that leaves so many good heroes out there. Hammer, Stitches, obviously, gonna be the two ones. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if they were picked very early on. Vala as well.
Yeah.
Zeratul could make an appearance.
And I'm just
Stitches in particular on this map.
Yep, Stitches is also a very good choice here. I'm wondering, I still think that there is a great opportunity here for Fnatic to pick up that Illidan first pick if they do want to go down that road. They've had some very cool melee compositions that they've used before. Yes, it is going to be Illidan. This is what I was alluding to before when, you know, they didn't ban it out first because they have really, really liked an Illidan first pick.
So I guess like Well Met now, they could go for tanks themselves. Maybe Stitches etc.
And just be like, well,
funny.
Screw you guys, because we can. That would be funny.
Yeah, if they went like Stitches etc, actually, like etc, you know, he has a bit of crowd control against Illidan. Stitches just great with the hook on this map, but then Fnatic can just start picking heroes that do have escapes. Like, you know, they will surely they will pick Vala. So they go for Hammer. Now, yeah, they have to go for Stitches. I was gonna say, like, if they don't go for Stitches, it's like an invitation for Fnatic to pick it and hook that Hammer. So this is so smart. Hammer and Stitches here. Like, I always mention it, and I'm glad that finally, you know, somebody respected that story, because to me, like, it's so important.
I like how you say finally, and you've only done, this is like your second Heroes cast ever. So.
No, but there's been a few times where I've said, like, you know, like, you can't pick Hammer and then not pick Stitches behind it, because if the opponent pick it, you're gonna be in trouble. Then again, supposedly it was gonna be on Blackheart, and they ended up like picking it themselves. And yeah, we didn't see the game anyway because he's the one that crashed. So I guess we'll never know about that, how that one would have gone just yet.
We'll never know, and I'm never gonna reveal ESC's major secret that they were gonna pull out on that. So just saying. Anyway,
aren't we gonna do that game later?
I'm not sure yet. I've been deliberating that with the admins. I'll tell you the secret after, potentially, but anyway. All right, so Rehgar and Tyrande get picked up here. Rehgar, obviously, to complement the lovely, lovely Illidan. Hunter's Mark for Tyrande because it's sick as anything. Also taking it away from Stitches on the other side because Stitches hooking in and then lying down a Hunter's Mark, and the potential for any extra members of their team that they pick up with stuns complements that beautifully. So I really like that they took Tyrande away from Well Met. Well Met has run Tyrande quite a lot in the Major League at the moment.
Yeah, I think here for Well Met, they have two assassins and there's Nazebo banned. They could actually steal Vala. Like, stealing Vala here would be so, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, it's so smart. Like, if you think about it, Fnatic, what can they go for here? Raynor, Nova, Falstad, Jaina, like, just crappy. I guess Tychus, maybe.
Yeah, they could go down Tychus again. You're right. I just like your description of them being crappy.
No, I mean, like, in comparison, if you compare, like,
the
three best assassins by far are Nazebo, Hammer, and Vala, and they are all on the side of Well Met. One of them has ban and two of them has pick. So now Fnatic, I mean, I really don't know what they have to go into from there. And Wellmet still has a pick, keep in mind.
They could go crazy. Fnatic could pick up Sonya because they have picked up Sonya in the past with the melee composition, including Illidan. So there is that potential laying in wait for us in those two picks there. Fred's ends up jumping on Sonya and whirling around in circles for ages.
Yeah.
So there is the potential.
Like, this makes this match even more interesting to me because on paper I would say like Fnatic are the favorite in my opinion against Wellmet.
Yeah.
But Wellmet right now, I like their draft, or like at least it's not over yet. I like how it's going a lot better than for Fnatic. So that will make definitely for an interesting match.
You know what I love about casting these kind of games? It's actually the draft. The draft it's like a little mini war in itself. It's crazy how it develops out. And Wellmet are taking their precious time here regarding this fourth pick. I think they want a healer, but with Uther banned, they're really deliberating who they actually want to take here.
They're probably debating between Brightwing and Malf.
Yeah.
Which one to pick, and also like which last hero, is it gonna be another tank or a melee assassin? They could actually like, because also like they got one pick left right now before Fnatic picks again, so they're deciding whether they pick their support or now or not. And I think going for like either a melee assassin or another tank now would be better. And yeah, look, they go for ETC.
Wow. Actually, that's really cool because, I mean, Fnatic already have their healer. Taking ETC now takes that away from Fnatic, who really need a frontliner. And ETC is one of the ones that, with Sonya, I've seen before in this composition. It's been really strong. So one thing that I was thinking that is, if Wellmet were anticipating Fnatic going down that route of being very heavily melee with the idea of a Sonya later on, they could have gone for Brightwing and gone for Emerald Wind. But there's room for that as their fifth pick anyway, if they do see that come out, because they're not going to take a Brightwing, or they're not. So, again, these dynamics really come into play. It's very cool to watch. What do you think Fnatic is going to pick up from here, then?
They need to be thinking about how to counter basically what they were playing in the last game, which is like a lot of sustain. But I mean, Wellmet, they don't just have the sustain here. They have 6 damage and 6 sustain as well. The thing is, in the previous game, Fnatic were the ones with the Rehgar that did a very good job of keeping everyone alive. Actually, going for Zeratul here is pretty smart, I think, because whether there is Brightwing or Malfurion picked, like usually with you know, Hammer being in there and Vala being in there, if Zeratul focuses on trying to take those down, he should be able to do that. But I think Brightwing Emerald Wind here, like against 4 melee.
Exactly. I think Brightwing Emerald Wind, but also even Malfurion with level 16 Tenacious Roots taken. That's what they might do here with this Malfurion pickup. Both are really cool. I mean, even Roots, regardless of Tenacious Roots at level 16, you take it over Hardened Focus, I think, is something that is brutal. It has
Twilight or Tranquility? Like, both could be good, but I guess Sustain is probably better. Like, with the way they lost Sustain last game, I think Tranquility is probably better.
Yeah, I think Tranquility is better too, because the thing is about this Illidan, Zeratul, Sonya composition that I have seen Fnatic run in the past, and that was why I was expecting Sonya to come out. It puts on so much pressure. It will blow someone up instantly if they're not careful. And that's something that makes Malfurion a little weaker against that comp, because Malfurion's heals are over time, not exactly like a great burst heal. So if we see this melee composition actually just focus down someone very quickly, that could leave Malfurion kind of redundant going into the later stages of those fights.
I really wonder what's Fnatic's plan to make this composition work. Because on paper, like, I really just don't see how it's going to happen.
I've seen it before. They've ran it... Let me think. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I need my notepad. I need my notes to actually back me up during all of this. I'm actually sifting through what I can find. They have ran it before, and they did not win with it. I don't know if they ran it last week, because obviously we haven't seen those games yet, and there was only one play day. But there is the potential here that they could win with it. They've had a lot of success with it in practice, so I'm told, and it's a crazy composition that you don't normally see, so it could catch people off guard.
Yeah, I mean, unless they somehow, you know, have like some great plan to engage with like Sonya jumping in there first and like, you know, locking somebody very quickly and smashing him, like killing him very quickly, and not allowing Malfurion to do his job in terms of healing. I feel like he's gonna take some great target fire and just like making sure like all 5 heroes of Fnatic are attacking the same guy to take them down one by one. Because if they spread out the damage they're dealing just even a little bit, they're absolutely like not gonna do anything against such a good like damage plus sustain composition.
Yeah, yeah. I think now that I think about it, I'm really thinking that as much as well met, I really like their damage, I really like their front line, but being forced to take Malfurion, I mean, whichever you go for, Malfurion or Brightwing, all their healing is like very slow, very kind of steady, but not big bursts. I'm trying to think of if they could have taken anyone else, but I don't think they could have. So
no.
It's going to be interesting. If the focus fire from Fnatic is on point, then I think they're able to take this 2-0.
Since it's Dragonshire, I guess they might have a plan to do like a lot of rotations at bottom, which is where the tri-lane versus tri-lane happens, and then try and make something happen there before it goes further into the game, like without doing any damage. Because if they don't get some kind of early on lead with the comp that they have, I totally see them just like falling apart and not being able to do anything against the comp of Wellmet is like a dream come true. Like if I was playing, I would be so happy.
All right, well, we're just waiting for everybody to ready up in this game, and then we will be good to go. Again, remember, it is Dragonshire here, as we had Cursed Hollow going over to Fnatic with... Again, I've got to say, when it goes to Fnatic, the movement that they had there on Cursed Hollow was fantastic, especially in the mid game. You were highlighting it around that 15 towards level 16 to be able to pressure, then just loop back on themselves and cause Wellmet to be way out of position, and then obviously not ready for that fight when they have the level 16 talent. You don't see that many of those movement decisions in pro heroes yet in the European scene.
But at the same time, it was also Wellmet making the mistake, because they could have seen that it's 5 guys pushing. They could have picked up sent only one guy to pick up the tribute, then TP back, and then they would have been the ones with the tribute.
That's true. That is true. So tit for tat, blow for blow, I guess there. Countdown has begun for game number 2. And again, it will be on Dragonshire between Wellmet and Fnatic. At the moment, Fnatic lead 1-0 here in this best of 3. And it's a very important best of 3 because all these teams are contending for that 4th spot in the playoffs. At the moment, Fnatic sits at 4th. And I actually believe if they win this 2-0, they will move up to 3rd because of 10-7 as opposed to 10-8 from SK Gaming. So anyway, let's get into things. Game number 2 now here in this best of 3 as we load up onto Dragonshire. And over on the left-hand side, it is Fnatic with Ace of Spades on Rhaegar again. Freds is going to jump on Sonya. Lowell is on Illidan. Kesil is on Tyrande. And Shinobu is playing Zeratul. A very scary composition there. And then on the other side for Wellmet, it is Nomi on Stitches. Soke on ETC. Haruke on Malfurion. Guremherd on Sergeant Hammer. And finally, Hasuobs on Valor.
First thing I note here is that Shinobu went for the reduce cooldown on Blink, by the way, rather than anything else. Which, oh my god.
Little fight breaking out again. And I can't believe my overlay is broken again, even on my main account. So,
oh my god.
God knows what's happened.
I'll speak about the talents, don't worry. I'm actually surprised that Shinobu's the Zeratul player here. He's the only American player here. Like he's the one with most delay. Ideally, with Zeratul, you want to have as little delay as possible. And another thing is, Stitches, when there is an ETC on your team, it's very, very tempting to go for the slam build. Like, you almost always should. But I guess they have so much damage already with not only Hammer, but also Vala, that he says it's actually useless to go for slam. I'll just do another tank, and we're going to have so much sustain. And you just chew your food at level 1.
Yeah, I think the front line is going to be extremely important, just to hold up and make sure that these melee units aren't going to actually kill them off very quickly. Nomi, potentially under threat. It's weird to say that a Stitches is potentially under threat when you see this rotation going around, because normally he can keep himself very much so alive, but there is a lot of lockdown there with Kesil to be able to push that back and do what he can. But Hasu actually runs into that fight, and Shinobu has to blink out there.
Wellmet is really respecting the rotations here of Fnatic. Hammer hadn't sieged yet in range for that tower. He's finally gonna do it. It's pretty late into the game, but he's gonna start pressuring that a lot. Nomi hasn't hit a single nuke yet this game. I don't know why he's even trying, to be honest.
Aww.
Like, those heroes have escape in the middle. Definitely should be more patient with that, save his mana for Slam.
And Shinobu, Kessel, and Lowell going to come all the way back around here now after losing out. Oh, well, not after losing out. After clearing their wave in mid, so can come along here and try and get some experience. Nomi's also coming down as well, though, but decides to pull on back, wants to get that experience in mid. Whilst Lowell and Shinobu and Kessel also on the way, so really trying to stop him from doing much.
Yeah. You know, I personally look down on Sonya a lot. I really think that it's like much weaker than a lot of other tanks, but I have to admit, on a lane like this in 1v1, it doesn't seem to lose to anything. I haven't seen Sonya, like, even in one of the previous games that we casted, Sonya crushed Shen at top. And look, she's just wrecking the CTC at top.
Oh, Shinobu gets caught, and actually also the route straight onto it, but he blinks out. Oh, the combination was good there from Well Met, but in the end, Shinobu was able to react and keep himself alive. Whew, close stuff. But going back to what you're saying about Sonya, the Whirlwind, with how the creeps line up, it's just so fantastic. It's so much sustain.
Yeah. Even, you know, I guess all of the spells like come in really handy for anything in 1v1.
Yeah.
If this were any other map, I think Lowell would already have started, you know, to go for the easy camps by himself. But now, since he's laning mid and since rotations are so easy and, you know, denying those camps don't take too much effort and are very easily predictable, he's not gonna go for that. He's just gonna stay mid and soak.
Doing all right with that. Kessel also rotating around. And every single time we see Fnatic actually clearing that wave in mid very quickly, it gives them another opportunity to start rotating because they don't need to soak that lane because everything is already dead. So the cleanup from them was good, but Wellmet was pressuring bottom lane pretty well because of all of those rotations and obviously having Hammer available to them. So that does help a lot.
Yeah, I really like that Lowell rather than going for the easy camp, which is easily, you know, easily contested. He goes for the hard camp. He's going to be able to secure that quite easily, and that's going to be creating some lane pressure. Could even, you know, lead to allow them to finally get that coveted Drake.
Yeah, you're totally right about that. With how the hard camp is positioned on this map, it's so difficult to actually get around there. Oh, but Shinobu actually gets caught there by Nomi. A great hook, almost full distance hook there onto Shinobu. Nice stuff there by Nomi to get them that first kill.
Some very decent experience gotten out of this. ETC getting chased at top, but he's going to be able to get away. Tenderizer on level 7 here for Stitches. So yeah, completely, you know, like full tank build, full healing build so far out of Malfurion, who I'm pretty sure he's going to go for Tranquility, but like it's not really a case of it will be so much better. I think it will be better, but slightly better than Twilight. I do think that Twilight could still be viable, especially against not only a Zeratul, but Illidan as well.
Well, they put a lot of pressure onto that bottom 4, and eventually, with maybe 1 or 2 more rocks, no, they clean up the easy camp. So very, very low. They really want to pick that up. There's no mules in the game at all, so they don't really have to worry too much about that. But Ace of Spades walks into a lot of damage there. There's the healing ward to keep him alive. The root is just slightly off point from Malfurion, and Ace of Spades will get away.
How do you like True Shot in this game for Tyranny? Are you happy?
I love it, but ETC's on the other side, so I'm not exactly the happiest of bears. And look at what Freds is up to. He just stole their hard camp. How did he get over there?
Easy, man. It's yeah, with Sonya, not too hard to do, to be honest. Like, she's really underrated for her great jungling skills. Yeah, Tranquility was picked here. For Wellmet, we have a Putrid Bile as well. Very logical with the build that Stitches was going to go for. We're going to have our first big brawl at the bottom here.
Oh, Haruka actually explodes there under the pressure of Lowell as well as Freds. And this is what I was talking about. If they can focus down targets, it's good. But at the same time, they lose a lot of members themselves. Sonya! Oh, dear me, she's gone. There's no way. Sonya completely gave up.
I really don't know how this comp wins here. They just got demolished in that fight. 4 players for 1.
Yeah. That was pretty brutal. That was pretty brutal. They don't really have the massive sustain that they need to. And unless they stick together and get disjointed... Actually, they were all pretty far away from each other in that fight. Yeah. So maybe that went against them there. But now...
They were very poorly positioned. Like, Void Prison did absolutely nothing that fight.
Yeah. Well, for now, that gives themselves an opportunity to grab themselves Dragon Knight if they want, but they're actually just pressuring through mid, and Zeratil's already rotated down to bot to protect that shrine. So they can keep on going.
I think Fnatic's best shot is that to time out like all their ultimates and attacks very well. Like for example, catch the hammer with leap, snipe him instantly.
Yeah.
And then from there, you know, it's a 5v4, but unless hammer messes up, it's just not gonna happen. And Zeratul right now is actually looking for well-met, see where they're at. They're actually gonna go for a fight. One talent behind, they feel like they have to make, you know, something risky, a drastic move. And they're going for it. Going
straight on to Gerdheim Herd once again there. The leap was on forwards, and they are taking a huge amount of damage from that strafe. It wasn't interrupted during all of that. Tranquility is going to keep them alive. Ace of Spades will end up falling, and the attempt here for Fnatic to pull out this strategy that they have had success with in practice is not paying off just yet.
Yeah, level 11 against level 13, coming in from like a direction like this. They engage into the Stitches, who's going tank builds. He was really happy to tank. Here, just obliged. Started Putrid Bile, and then they didn't lose any, but they didn't even lose that many hit points.
No, not at all. They aren't at all. They need to blow someone up instantly. They may even need to blow 2 members of Well-Met up here before that Tranquility is really, you know, doing too much in these fights, because they just can't win out in the sustain like you were mentioning.
Zeratul spots the whole team here. Actually, they might be able to contest the easy had they gone for it, but right now, they are just trying to get the Drake as soon as possible here. Well-Met, wanting to play it safe. Not gonna try to greed anything. Still 7 kills to 1. Oh, Zeratul missed his blink at the top.
Oh, he missed blink?
He actually missed his blink, so it's gonna take for him a lot longer to secure that. But I guess, luckily, nobody was capping mid. Somebody could definitely have gotten the Drake because of that miss.
Oh well, for now there's the hard camp going to end up pushing up top here. They are looking to push on forwards themselves, Well-Met straight towards this 4, and Zeratul slightly out of position, so it's going to take them a little while to regroup, but Zeratul is on the way up from the top here.
I think it's really cool that Malfurion went for Ice Block, by the way, against this many, you know, hard engage and melee heroes that could jump him. Definitely going to help a lot. Lunar Blaze for the Tyrande here on level 13. And yeah, Relentless, 4 Stitches.
Giant Killer taken by Lowell, needing to get through ETC and Stitches here. So no Sixth Sense from him in this game. Trying to get on through. Not really anticipating too much damage in terms of abilities. He understands that Hammer and Valor are the big like auto-attack damage dealers here, so doesn't need Sixth Sense as much.
It's a lot of movement here around the top with Well-Met, you know, regrouping around there. We see Fnatic regrouping around the bottom, so that's gonna lead, you know, into just getting some camps here and there, and then we should be headed into another fight, our brawl, as level 16 will be reached much earlier here for Well-Met against Fnatic, who's not even on 14 yet.
They really need to catch up. They're going to get a little bit more experience at the bottom here with Shinobu actually cleaning up that wave, but they can't fight for quite a long time. This fort is almost definitely going to go down here for Well-Met. Contesting that is very, very difficult from them at the moment. They're trying to spread out and get their experience where they can, but they're going to take a lot of structure damage for this.
Sokka is doing a fantastic job of staying, you know, on other lanes with the ETC and just making sure he has stage dive ready and goes every time he needs to. They're just trading shrines back and forth so far. I'm actually surprised that Well-Met's not putting more effort than that into, you know, engaging before Fnatic catches up. But I guess they still have quite a bit of time before that happens.
It's going to be blood for blood, double stone skin, fishing hook, as well as hardened focus.
Wow, fishing hook rather than the stun here. A little bit surprised, but I guess on this map it makes sense. If you hook somebody this late into a game, and then behind it you just insta-kill him, you know, if ETC is quick to react, if Malfurion is quick to root, you can kill somebody very, very quickly after a hook from afar. Then all of a sudden you're 5 versus 4. It's just a great situation to be in.
They've got to pull back and try and deal with this huge push actually coming on towards Keep. Will he land anything? And there he goes, straight onto Lowell. That's not too bad, but he does get healed up pretty quickly off the back of that.
He reacts quickly enough. It would have taken for this ETC to start executing his power slide before Illidan had reached him, but didn't do that. They should be able to get that keep, I would like to say. Actually, no, they're forced to pull back a little bit before.
Ace of Spades gets hooked.
useless hook.
It was very, very small. It was a spindly hook. That was a very small one. But for now, Zoka takes some damage here on the retreat out. Just getting back and being healed up nicely by Haruka, keeping him on top. And still, they just can't get level 16. This keeper's going to fall.
Fnatic would like to be able to wait for as long as possible here till they can get level 16, but well met doing a fantastic job of not fighting too close to the keep, not fighting too early. They're just looking for the hook here and there. And they're going to be able to get the keep.
Yeah.
Now they can choose to stay there or pull back, but Fnatic is getting very, very close to 16. So I think they're just going to steal the easy and then go for their own camps.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Don't give your opponents any opportunity. The Owl will be able to spot everyone stealing the easy, and then there's not really any opportunity for them to actually pressure against that. So just getting themselves their experience. Level 16 is going to kick in, and those talents will come in with double bombs being taken, shooting star, double blood for blood, and imposing presence being added on to the arsenal for Fnatic.
Hardened focus is so good here in this case on Malfurion, because he can stay behind because they already have so much sustain. He's gonna, you know, get his spells back so quickly.
Yeah, it's doing a lot of work. It will do a lot of work as well. Let's take a look at the healing and actually etc. done. Not too much healing done just yet in this game because there hasn't been a huge amount of fighting, just a few, but every single time Wellmet have come out vastly on top. So they get themselves a hard camp, but Fnatic's going to have to fall back. They can't... fighting is still very, very difficult for them. They need some kind of advantage somewhere, but where are they going to get it?
I really don't know. Like, if they fight on equal talents, even though they're 2 levels behind, there is a chance they could win. But with those compositions, I just don't see how they could ever win a fight unless Wellmet makes an absolutely horrendous mistake. Like right now, they're trying for a move. They're going discreetly through the, I guess we could call it the forest here.
Yeah, looking...
The base.
The small shrubbery. They're trying to find someone out of position, but Wellmet is playing this so well. They know that their opposing team is not showing. They know they're looking for a gank or an opportunity to find a kill, and at the moment they're not going to find it.
With the mindset they have here, they can also see, you know, the opponents coming. Should be starting the easy camp. Soccer just waiting in his bush like a good boy, ready to stage dive when he has to.
Yep, down to the south. And this hard camp is eventually going to be taken. He sees the Owl. He might actually leap in to try and go for the steal. He's going to go for it, as well as Metamorphosis. Hasselhoff blows up. There's the Void Prism as well. This is a good opportunity for them. Zoka is outside of that Void Prism. There's the Ancestral Healing. It was very, very early on Freds, but they get a kill and are just going to back off for now.
Why was Hasselhoff capping a camp, knowing that the opponents, like they knew that they were there, I think, too. Or they could be there. And he captures the camp with Vala against the Sonya. It was really no missed job to do this, but he didn't. He was just dancing around looking for a hook. So in the end, they lose their Vala, and now all of a sudden, there is a chance Fnatic could transform that, I guess that nice action that happened for them into a Drake.
They've got to look for more picks like that, that's for sure. Look for a few more. It's 19 against 17 still here in this game. So Fnatic trying to hold on against this, getting themselves a little bit of extra experience on this wall. They really haven't taken down that much many structures at all. So all of these little chunks of experience that they get is a really nice start for them.
Yeah, trading the shrines here for now. It's actually, yeah, Wellmet has to play so defensive. Like they had to stay back, but now they're going to be in a situation where they feel like they have to go for a fight because they have neither of the shrines, and if they send someone to the top shrine, then they're exposed to getting caught in the middle of the map. So they're just standing there, not knowing what to do, looking all around themselves, you know, being really paranoid. I guess they can send Soke. It's funny, like, I had never imagined ETC kind of becoming like, you know, like a Brightwing, like that you live on a lane and that teleports into a fight.
Yeah.
He's like a glorified Brightwing, that's what it is.
He pretty much is, and his teleport in does a whole lot more damage than and causes a whole lot more disruption. But look at this! Wellmet are just going for it through the middle, and technically they would win out a race here, so Lowell and Ace of Spades were briefly going to teleport back there, but decided to cancel it, and they're just going to come in from the back and try and take the fight, but they're already well out of there after taking that wall down.
Yeah, Wellmet quickly realized what's happening. They're trying to pull back, but they're actually about to get caught here. Sokka's going to have to react very quickly if his team gets engaged and stage dive in the right position. I think right now they're trying to wait for 20. It would be really good for Fnatic to try and get a fight before that 20 finishes, but Wellmet very nicely are just going to pull back and wait it out, try to be careful. If they can get 20, then surely there is just so much difference in experience that they will be able to get a fight before Fnatic gets 20, and then it's just ideal to win.
And that's going to be coming along very soon. I got to give credit where credit is due again to Fnatic. As much as they are behind, the map movement has still been very good once again. The decision-making is good in that regard. Well met is just kind of...
they're trying to fight.
Uh-oh.
Before 20.
It's going to pop so soon, though.
They're about to get 20. Oh, my God.
It'll pop mid-fight if they go. Okay, well, there it is. And then now they cannot. There's no way. Phew.
Abort.
That was a very quick abort. They had to get out of there fast. So it's going to be Regenerative Bile actually being taken from Stitches. Blink, Storm Shield, Nexus Frenzy, as well as the second Blink coming out for this team.
Yeah, Storm Shield, oh my God, they're gonna have so much sustain. Nexus Frenzy, don't even get me started. Like, this is... Sergeant Hammer shouldn't even have this.
No, it's brutal, right? Sergeant Hammer becomes a god once Nexus Frenzy is initiated, so... Very scary to go up against, and especially if they're only level 19. They cannot fight.
Look at the ridiculous range. He actually went for Stone Skid, which nowadays is not really the trend anymore. You want to get that, you know, being able to move with that much range and attack speed can be good, but I guess getting Stone Skin means he's going to be able to have even more sustain than they already have against, you know, a composition which, again, needs to get on top of this. I guess carries and all that, as Vala and Hammer are going to be the ones the most threatened.
The thing is about Blink on... Oh, they might be going for this. Hold the phone. I'll get to that point in just a little bit as they're going to jump straight on in, trying to bring down Haruka very fast. That is a lot of the sustain going down if they get him, but he ice blocked! He ice blocked at just the very last second there. Brilliant by Haruka, keeping himself alive. Tranquility is going to keep him up during all of that. Sonya died while that was going on. Haruka still under pressure, but he will survive. Oh my God.
So apparently, story of this match here, more sustain, more win.
Yeah. That ice block by Haruka. Wait a minute. Gotta clap. That was beautiful. Beautiful stuff.
Really at the last second gets caught, and then in the end, with the healing wall plus tranquility, regenerates back to full hit points. We have 2 players dead on Fnatic, and well met will just win from there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 1-1.
Drake is here, and unfortunately they cannot stop a Dragon Knight at this point. It was a cool idea from Fnatic. Once again, we've seen it a few times here in the Major League, but it is GG. Well met, tie up the series 1-1 here in the final series of the day, and it's one of the most important series of the entire group stage because both of these guys are fighting for that spot in 4th place now. Even if Fnatic does win, I'm actually not sure about their head-to-head with SK Gaming. I'll have to check that. But a really cool game there, Todd. Really cool game.
Yeah, it was really nice. I'm not sure what exactly the plan from Fnatic was, though. I guess I'll ask them. Find out.
Yeah, you could do that. All right, so before we get into game number 3, we're going to go to one last commercial break here at ESL TV. And then when we're back, it's more from the ESL Major League. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Major League here at ESL TV, as we are going to get into game number 3 now, and it's going to be on Sky Temple, so we can actually jump into the bans and picks right away to figure out what is going to be going on here. As WellMet has already banned Zeratul, so don't want any more of that at all. They don't want Fnatic going for their crazy melee compositions, despite it not working out too well in the previous game.
I asked Lowell actually what this was about. Like, what was the plan with that composition? And he said, well, the plan was like to not be scared, go forward, and basically one-shot whoever was at the front with a leap from Sonya. I guess they were planning on killing somebody very quickly and then starting the fight with like a 5 versus 4 situation. And I mean, they had Tyrande. They had Tyrande plus Sonya. They jump on someone, use Tyrande onto Smart, and then take them out. But apparently he was not very satisfied with the execution, so I guess that's what went wrong. Yeah,
we've again, you know, I've seen them or heard of them doing it in practice, and we've seen it actually used here in the Major League once or twice, but it hasn't had a huge amount of success yet. So it is like their pocket strategy that they pull out every so often, but yet to really see it have a true impact. Hammer is going to be taken for WellMet on the other side. Fnatic, they have to pick up a Valor in one of these two picks. They have to pick up a Valor to go into this, unless they want to go for the start of an Illidan composition again.
Yeah, with Stitches being banned already, I quite like the Hammer pick, to be honest. And yeah, Valor wouldn't surprise me. And then from there, you can develop that into already kind of, you know, anything you want. I really don't feel like in terms of like meta and stuff, the opponents already have Hammer, Stitches is banned, you pick Valor. There isn't really like an obvious pick. They could start opening with the support that they think is more ideal for their composition, like the one that they're thinking about. Because usually, like, at this point in the game, you're not just reacting to your opponent, you already have kind of a composition in mind. Like, obviously your plan's gonna change as the draft develops, but you should already have a basic composition that you're already thinking about.
Well, they're taking a lot of time about this first pick here. Fnatic really deliberating. Again, this game for Fnatic and WellMet is basically do or die. If you lose this one, you're not going to playoffs. If you win, you are going to playoffs. So they're going to go with the Illidan to start things off here. Ooh. So already the commitment to quite the shape of this composition.
If WellMet reacts to this with, you know, well, obviously we're going to have to see what the second pick from Fnatic is first, but I feel like either Tassadar or Rhaegar. Probably Tassadar here I think would be good on this map, because then even Brightwing can be really good to stay on the lane and teleport when you have to fight for the temples. Keep in mind, like, this is a very different map than any other maps. Like, so many heroes that usually wouldn't be that great are going to be much better here. Like, I think Kerrigan's very good on this map, but we already have Illidan on one hand. And yeah, as you said, they were kind of forced into going into a Vala here. So right now, WellMet, they can start thinking about picking very good heroes with crowd control, because that Illidan, they need to keep a lot of focus on him.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. So I'm wondering what they're going to go for. As you mentioned, you know, heroes that aren't necessarily good on other maps are cool here. So you can see some wild varying compositions. Even yesterday we had Zagara mix done on Sky Temple and trying to be successful with that. I'm trying to think what else we ended up seeing.
They could go, I think, like ETC Brightwing, but then that means they leave Rhaegar and Tassadar to Fnatic. Do they really want to do that and say, we're going to let you play your ideal comp that you want to play, but then pick enough crowd control to take out the Illidan no matter what? That's very risky. So they might choose to at least pick either Tassadar or Rhaegar, and then maybe pick ETC themselves.
I think ETC definitely can't be overlooked. You have to go for him, and it's going to be their next choice. It's just too strong with Stage Dive on this map to either contest a lane and then jump down for the Stage Dive if needs be, or contest another point and then jump down for Stage Dive if you're needed at another point. So,
do you know what ETC means, guys?
Elite Torrent Chieftain, Todd.
He said so proudly.
I played World of Warcraft a lot, and that's where it's from. So they actually had a little band. They have ETC is the leader. I think is the lead singer for the band. Actually, there's a whole band of them. And at one point they were a different particular level, and now I think they're like level 100 ETC now. So yeah, there you go. Maybe I know too much about it.
all that sustain, man, is coming back again.
Yeah.
Shen plus ETC. If they were to pick something like Nasibo behind this and then one hitter, Well-Met would have a very, very strong comp. But again, not picking either Rehgar or Tassadar means that Fnatic can actually go for those right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, like they don't even hesitate. They're like, oh yes, free pass.
Yeah, exactly. There's no point in even hesitating at this point because, I mean, even Well-Met goes into their picks knowing full well that Fnatic will go for those at this point.
Yeah. So now, do they go for Nazibo or Tyrande? That's like the main question here. They could go for Tychus as well. Tychus, Tyrande, Nazibo gonna be, I think, one of their assassin. And in terms of support, it's gonna be between Uther and Brightwing. I would lean towards Brightwing, I think, personally. But Uther is still quite decent as well.
I want them to go Reyna. We've seen a lot of Reyna on Sky Temple in the past. I would love to see that. But then on the side of Fnatic, if they do go Nazeebo, obviously they need their front liner. They could easily go Diablo with their Apocalypse. They have options, and it's going to be Malfurion.
Whoa, I did not expect that. I guess in the previous game it worked out very well. They had the same composition as now with a Vala as another assassin. I think Nazeebo here would be great. Like there isn't really much interrupt at all. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be Nazeebo. Whereas for Fnatic, in terms of tanks, there isn't too much choice left. Like 2 were picked by Well-Met and Stitches was banned. So it's going to be Arthas or Diablo, I guess.
All right, well, there's the Nazeebo. Is it going to be the Diablo?
I think Arthas could be quite good here as well. Like it's very tanky.
Yeah, it's not too bad. The small choked up points near, especially the bottom temple, where Howling Blast is quite useful.
Muradin could be good too.
Muradin. Yeah, if he gets rooted, it causes issues for him because he just really can't do a whole lot and he's out of range of people for quite a while. I see no reason on my side of things why they wouldn't go for Diablo to have that Apocalypse available to them.
Yeah. TRL also, I guess, to interrupt Nazeebo?
Yeah, maybe. They have liked their heavier melee comps in the past, and I'll have to scour my notes later on to see if they did actually pick up a TRL in the past.
TRL is not really as good a sustain as the other tanks, though.
Exactly.
I feel it's really only about the ultimate.
Yeah, definitely. More damage builds have been on TRL at recent, and it's 5 seconds left on the clock now. Who are they going to go for? Unless my thing is bugged down. That's a bug. This sometimes bugs out. On mine, I refreshed and they've picked Azmodan. So wait, let me refresh again. Azmodan. Let me refresh again. Azmodan. Okay, so I think they've picked Azmodan. I think we had a little bit of a bug there. But if they have, their front line is interesting because it kind of doesn't exist.
Yeah, I guess in terms of interrupt, there isn't really that much from Well-Met as well. So Azmodan could do quite a bit of damage. If he goes into he's very good at pushing lanes. Okay, no, actually, never mind. Lowell just messaged me and he says they froze on the last pick, so they couldn't pick.
All right. Let's just quickly check. I assume that these are not the correct ones. I assume... I like how I was already
wrong. Theory crafting about the Azmodan, even though it doesn't really make sense. Okay, they go for Muradin, he says.
Okay then. I'll ask Nazeebo, what is yours?
That Nova pick, though.
I was like, Nova? I saw the timer running down, and generally we've actually had 1 or 2 times where that's just occurred. So I kind of knew it was going to be the bug from there, but... All right, so you said Muradin, right?
Yes, Muradin.
Okay, then. Okay. Interesting choice. Again, I haven't seen Muradin for about a week and a bit now in the metagame, but we'll find out what's going on. And Hasuobs is waiting for them to tell him what he's picked. All right, so Muradin, let's theorize this. We already talked about it a little bit. He never dies. He's not going to die for quite a while. He's very, very supportive, very, very strong, and will be always a strong frontliner, especially when you get level 20 and you're actually going into Rewind. You have double stun potential, double leap potential, all those kinds of things.
He's going to have a massive responsibility of halting the ultimate of Nazeebo.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And that's why I was favoring maybe the Diablo a bit more, because Apocalypse does just shut it down in a button press, whereas Muradin's got to hunt him down and then try and actually stun him out from there. Which, once you've hunted him down, yeah, you can actually stun unless somebody gets a really weird block off where, especially if you take the double sledgehammer, the double hammer piercing bolt to actually hit him through. So they should be able to get the interrupt if they can find him in a good spot.
Well, see if that happens. I guess on this map, it's very open. Around the times you need to fight at around the temples.
Mhm.
Like I feel like Muradin is a great pick, to be honest. Like in a lot of those fights, he's gonna be stunning 2 heroes. You can even like pick the talents where if the thunderclap hits a single target, it does like 300% more damage or something, which is really sick in my opinion. So it's a good pick altogether. Like it's tanky, it does a lot of damage. Like on paper, I like Wellmet's composition a little bit more, but that's because I'm a sucker for hammer compositions and sustain plus a lot of damage. But I would say it's still definitely pretty open, and I'm glad it is. Like if we had the same draft as we had in the previous game in that one, I'd be pretty sad. Because then it would be like, well, I guess congratulations, Wellmet. Unless they really mess up, they're gonna advance to the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. This is really down to the wire, and with the lineups that we're seeing here at the moment, it could go either way. It could go either way. Are you favoring any side here? Looking at it, I'm personally favoring Wellmet with what they've got available to them.
Slightly, like on a map like this, like on many other maps, I would say Fnatic's composition is like a lot weaker. But since it's a map where there's going to be a lot of fighting and stuff, like I think they've done an okay job of like salvaging the composition. It's not like Wellmet went for like a full CC composition, which will completely annihilate the Illidan. Like they went for a very good sustain comp, but on paper, I do think that Fnatic have like quite a decent chance to win this.
Yeah.
And look at this, man. They bring out all the skins already.
Well, that's the most important thing, right? That is the most important thing. So, all right. So let's see. Actually, can you see Fnatic's side, like on the thing? Because I can see Wellmet.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. That's cool. I didn't realize that was the case. Okay. So, most of these players are almost good to go. We just need 3 more, and then we should be fine. Let's go. Typing it in as cheerful a voice as I possibly can. Obviously, those guys out there don't exactly realize that, but
Don't be so bossy, James.
I just want to get the games going, man. It's getting pretty late. This is the last game here in our group stage in the best of 3. And we're just now waiting for Nomi and somebody else to ready up, and then we'll be good to go. Maybe Hasuob's here, considering other portraits.
Do you think, since there is so little interrupt on Fnatic, do you think there is any chance we don't see a barrel roll from Shen?
That is kind of cool. That is kind of cool because they will be so preoccupied with trying to negate Nazeebo that Muradin is the only one that has those interrupts to actually shut that down. It's a cool idea in theory, but I don't think they're going to do it.
And I say barrel roll, I mean Wandering Keg.
Barrel roll.
I think Storm Earthfire here would be great, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like the cooldown is really not that long. There's going to be a lot of fighting in those fights if he manages to get it out, which should be definitely possible because the only guy that can interrupt him, I think, is Muradin. Then if he can use that, he's going to be even more tanky with an ETC at the front that leaves free reign for Nazeebo and Hammer to have a lot of fun behind.
Yeah. Unless Valor took Rain of Vengeance and saved it for that, but that's a big cooldown to save for something like that. So that's kind of thinking way far out of the box. But you're right. Muradin is the only guy that's really going to be able to interrupt that. As I said, nice idea in theory, but I think they're just going to go for the Wandering Keg. And especially around the bottom temple, try and push people into awkward situations there. It is something that's very, very powerful. But for now, let's get into game number 3, the final game of the group stage to determine the last remaining team moving on into the playoffs. As we have on the left-hand side, it is Fnatic. Ace of Spades is going to be on Rhaegar. Lowell is on Illidan. Kaiser is on Tassadar. Shinobu is on Valor, and Freds is on Muradin. And then over on the right, we have Well Met with Nomi on ETC, Zoka on Shen, Gerdheim Herd on Sergeant Hammer, Haruka is on Malfurion, and finally, Hasuobs is on Nazeebo.
Okay, look at the talents of Vala and Muradin. What's happening?
Rancor, and where was Muradin? Reverberation. I don't mind Reverberation too much if you're against a melee composition, but against this, where you're probably not going to hit too many of them with the Thunderclap, I'm a little bit suspect about it. I'm kind of surprised that we see Reverberation against a ranged composition.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, there's got a few better choices that can be made, but maybe he has a special plan in the works here.
Maybe.
Rhaegar against Shen at bottom. Well, good luck, Rhaegar. Yeah. I guess he's going to have to heal himself a lot.
It's going to take a little while. And at the beginning of the game, he doesn't have a huge amount of mana, to be honest with you, so any cast that he's going to go for, especially Totem, does cost a whole lot at the front there. That was a weird Totem cast, actually, now that I look at it. But anyway.
Yeah, I really like the way Wellmet set up their lanes, by the way. The 2 tanks at bottom by themselves and 3 ranged at top to just dominate.
Yeah, Freds isn't going to have much room.
It's like he has to be afraid.
Exactly. You're totally right. I think that as much as they may want to use him as an initiator, I don't think they have the damage to out-sustain the composition and out-damage the composition that we're seeing here from Wellmet at the top.
Alright, let's see if they choose to fight or play it safe and, you know, each pick one of the shrines. Oh, Fnatic. I think Fnatic wants to fight and Wellmet wants to split. So right now Fnatic are the one trying to see where Wellmet are and try to catch them, but then they changed their mind. They saw that they were a little bit too far out of position, so they're just going to take the middle temple.
Yeah, far too difficult to actually break that position with Gerdheim Herd set up in that bush in the middle to actually protect Hasu and Haruka doing well at the temple. There's not too much of a timing difference, so there's very, very little that they can do to rotate from top to middle shrine as well here for Wellmet, so it's just going to be temple for temple.
Gerdheim Herd just sieging there here for a second, was doing some pretty nice pushing. At the same time though, it will be the same damage to buildings, except that since Heimer has pushed as much as he has, there will be a little bit more damage at the top, and they're actually going to try to go for that fort before the temple comes up at bottom, I guess.
And Gerdheim Herd's doing really well with that. A lot of damage coming in, and them not really doing a huge amount to that temple in mid, fort in mid. So Gerdheim Herd is almost going to get himself a free fort off the back of them trying to get a hard camp pretty fast here, knowing that they can't really push back against that hammer at the moment.
Yeah, they need to defend top, and I think Illidan, though, could go for the easy camps already to try and time that very, very well with when the temple at the bottom will come up. But they get the fort without any encountering any resistance here.
And that makes their next temples even stronger, with actually them getting forts this early on. It's very unusual you see a fort go down at 3 minutes, especially at this level of play. But Wellmet, a good start for their campaign here, even though it is even in experience. Obviously, they gave up a little bit of soaking elsewhere for that.
Those temples staying at the bottom, like you want to try to line up that easy camp very, very well with when it spawns, so that it's pushing and helping you creating lane pressure. But Wellmet, they don't want to wait anymore. They're just going to clear that as quickly as possible and work on the contest, possibly on Fnatic's side. No, actually no, they just pulled back.
Yep. Nomi slightly out of position.
Oh, they're going to go for the hard.
Oh, okay, okay. Hasuobs is slowing down the hard at the same time.
Shen, you need to go back. His stun is hit.
Yeah, I should be able to get out.
That's 5 heroes, guys. Oh my god, I can't believe he got out.
That was a massive commitment to that as well, actually. And unless they do extra damage down at the bot, they are actually losing out on soaking elsewhere. I mean, Nomi is in mid soaking. Hasu is at the top, and they're going to get this hard camp as well. This is going to give them a sizable experience advantage unless they get some towers, but at least they're doing that.
I think Fnatic mistimed a little bit when the temple was going to spawn at the bottom. They didn't wait until it came up. They just went there, tried to get a gank on that hero. But in the end, it's still the same experience.
Yeah.
And they did quite a bit of damage to the buildings at bottom. But look at this. Rhaegar is almost out of mana here.
That's true. We're seeing not too much mana problems over on the side of Haruka and Nomi at the front here, with Hasu having a little bit less. But as you say, they always have that that extra talent on Malfurion to give him back mana whenever he needs it.
instead of just capturing the temple, Wellmet were hesitating here. They were thinking about fighting for a second. We have a hard camp pushing at top, by the way, for Wellmet. This is great. It's just gonna crush the next wave of minions and then go straight for the wall.
And it looks like Fnatic not going to actually try and deal with that temple at all and just going to go straight for a fort, which in essence actually does the same job. Yeah. So a good anticipation there for Fnatic to actually get that. And they get level 10 first off the back of that, even though level 10 is also coming in for
yeah, by like one creep, so...
Yeah, not much.
They are going to engage. They need to be careful here. Any engagement. If you fall behind on this map, it's actually really, really hard to win.
Todd Mosh Pit got taken. I was fully expecting Stage Dive to come in here, but Mosh Pit for those fights on temples.
How many people can interrupt him? Vala went strafe, guys. It's only one guy. Yeah. Only Muradin can interrupt him.
There's a big, big lack of interrupts on either side, really. As this is going to be very, very interesting. The Mosh Pit, if it lands properly, it can be game-ending. It can be game-winning. So now they're going to have to be very, very careful here at Fnatic.
On a map like this, where you're fighting all the time, you're going to have so many chances to execute a good Mosh Pit. You just get once a single good one, and the enemy team is going to be in trouble. Even taking the boss here. He could actually Mosh Pit in the middle of that.
They're going to try and go for it. There goes the strafe. Sok is going pretty low during all of this. Wandering Keg out of there, as they are all in Mosh Pit. It did catch quite a few of them there, but the Ravenous Spirit is trying to do some damage. Nobody's died just yet. Somehow, some way, the sustain works out for both teams. Shinobu was very low. He manages to get out, but the boss was taken for Wellmet, and it's pushing on forwards whilst these members for Fnatic are pretty low.
Fnatic lost nobody. Look at that Vala. No hit points left.
Yeah.
Ace of Spades did a fantastic job with Kessil of keeping his team alive. And this could have been a disaster. I totally saw them just getting wiped here. And Illidan didn't even use his ultimate, actually. Preserved that.
Wow. Wow. That actually might be a bug. I'm not... I don't know if I saw it or not being cast. Okay. He did cast it, but again, it's that weird bug where it doesn't show up on the left-hand side. But regardless of that, now they're going to push them back from this fort in mid. And Illidan, Lowell actually looking to take his hard camp whilst all this fighting is going on. So good anticipation from him to just not have to join that fight.
You know, I feel like this map is actually a great map to pick a mule on, because you can save a lot of buildings, you know, bring them back to full hit points. But this team, these two teams, they are just so good that they say, well, we don't need a mule. We're just going to pick the talents that are going to help us fight better the opposite team. So Tassadar went for Static Charge. Malfurion went for Enduring Growth. And they're going to bank on that to win the fights and make sure that they pull ahead. Because if you win the fights, at the end of the day, you don't need Mule to regenerate your buildings. But at the same time, if you lose the fights and you don't have Mule, it's going to be much worse. So winning the fights is going to be everything in this game.
But Nazeebo actually gave up Gibbin for his Mule.
Oh, yeah, he did.
So I haven't seen much use of it yet, though. I'll be honest. Yeah. So we'll see if that comes into play later on. But it gives validity to your point of it's very, very strong on this map.
Yeah, it is. Gibbin actually is very, very important spell. I guess since he doesn't go Gargantuan, he doesn't need it.
That's true. All right.
And, actually, they left the temple top here, Fnatic. They want to get the fight at bottom. They know it's same talents. It's very risky, actually, to engage into this. And they pull back to defend. I mean, 4 giants like this, 4 seed giants, you need to go and defend.
They lost the whole wall.
But that means that now, all of a sudden, why are they TPing? They want to defend top and then get the temple top, since they already shot a bunch of the...
Yeah, they've used lots of it, right? They've used a lot of the charges there. May as well go up top and get the majority of that one out there.
Not that many more, because quite a few were used at top as well. This is so weird, these movements that we saw from both.
I think it's okay for Wellmet. Like, they're going to get maybe like 5 or 6 more shots off because of the bar, compared to what they would have got at the bottom temple, whereas Fnatic could have just rivaled the one at top. But Fnatic have also moved well with their movement down towards the bottom and pressuring, because they've obviously forced out the base there for a little while, and they're going to force it out again here now.
Yeah, forced to TP back here, as no keep has fallen yet, but the walls are starting to come down on each side.
Gonna have to retreat back now here, as I just want to look for extra objectives elsewhere, but no objectives are even open on the map at the moment.
Kailaris, no hero has died this game yet.
Have they not? Yeah, you're right.
This is sick. This is so close too, and it's such an important game.
Yeah, definitely. It's a hugely important game. This game basically decides whether you get money or you don't in the Major League after 7 weeks of competing. So Yeah, it's a pretty important game.
Yes. Even making it to the top 4, like any of these teams could take it all the way and win the tournament. So this is massive.
Yeah, definitely true. The competition in Europe at the moment is great. Well,
they could actually have left. Like usually when opponents push like this, when you TP back and you defend, they will go back. So a good move that Wellmet could have gone for here is leave somebody bottom to keep on soaking XP for as long as possible. Town portal with 4 people, chase the opponents away, and then recall on time with the other one.
And to be fair, they could have done that with ETC before it had gone. Yeah. Oh, look at this rotate around that little small area. They were looking for the disengage that fooled them out, and they're actually going to go for the full engage onto this good. I'm heard actually at half health, being healed up by this Tranquility. At the same time, they're trying to chase him down, trying to do damage to him, but Haruka is going to be the focus fire, as well as Nomi taking a lot of damage. Ancestral Healing goes down on Shinobu, and the push back for the disengage here for Wellmet to try and get out of there. And they will, and still nobody dies.
I can't believe nobody died here. They were in such a bad position, but they had that 16th talent really working in their favor. And actually, did he go for extra mines? No, he didn't. Okay, no, I guess that was 2 in a row. So, in terms of talents, he went for Stone Skin again here. Gerdime on the hammer. And Hardened Focus was picked... Again, I like that, I guess, by Malfurion.
Yeah.
It's really worked wonders for him.
Definitely, and Haruka is not going to stop there at all. He entangling roots some of these members over here, and trying to take this hard camp might cost them a few bodies. Fred has to jump on out of there, and he will be able to keep himself alive after easy camp was traded off. So very, very careful. Got to be very, very careful about these.
They're just going to counter-attack. I think they just want to trade and get the keep. That's going to force Fnatic back.
It's going to force a fight. Oh my god, triple blood for blood has been taken from Fnatic on their level 16. ETC and Jabal Shen are going to have to be very careful at the front lines once this goes off.
Is somebody finally going to die, Kailaris?
They may do with triple blood for blood. Also, Stoneform has been taken for Muradin to keep himself well healed up when he pops the avatar and jumps straight on in.
A few ultimates are still missing. But they are about to come back, and I think we might have a brawl here. Yeah. Unless Wellmet chooses to try and go for the temple instead, which I think they are.
I think both teams might move up there, yeah. I've got to try and contest that. Illidan may go for the hard camp, but at the same time, he needs to be in this fight once it ends up going down. There's a route straight onto that push back forwards there. Freds will be able to actually get healed up. There is the healing ward here as well, and they're going to disengage from that after popping 2 of their ults.
Yeah,
2 or 3.
I think those were way too premature, especially the Ancestral Healing.
Yeah, he was only at half health.
This is so smart. Wellmet, fully knowing that 2 ultimates were used, they know that they can't lose a fight. Was Fnatic to come back into a fight now, so they're just gonna rush for the boss, and then from there they can decide whether they want to push with the boss or go for the temple. I think that pushing with the boss might be the better choice.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. There's so much power behind it. With the, it's not even 2. I mean, I had a misstep there. It's actually 3. I mean, they popped Avatar, they popped Archon, they popped Ancestral Healing. The 3 A's are gone, Todd. And this push on forward through mid, it looks like just a full-blown base trade. Fnatic are off on the way.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh. Is this really going to decide it?
The keep at top should die faster here from Wellmet than the one in middle for Fnatic, but I mean,
they're going to have to base. They're trying to base.
Muradin just runs away from the top. I think they're realizing that right now. They are TPing back. Oh, they just canceled the TP.
Oh my god.
Fnatic was going to pull back. A lot of hesitation on both teams right now.
Yeah.
They came back alone.
They didn't go very aggressively for this call. They're going to pull back now with Gerdime, Herd, and Soke able to push them back. Nomi is also on the way back there as well. They don't want to be losing any heroes at all. The boss is pushing down bottom keep. They're going to get mid keep here. And the lasers is actually doing quite a bit of damage to mid as well. They lost the keep up at top, obviously did well met, but losing 2 keeps for 1, I'm not sure that trade's good unless they were really wanting to just power on through and go for the core.
I don't think that Fnatic quite realized that they could have actually gone for the fight with 4 versus 2 being the number here, but rather than do that, they just went for a hard camp. Now that they're pulling back, they've lost 2 keeps. They are not going to take any core damage, but even the top lane for Fnatic is not that healthy. Like 1 tower already went down the wall as well there.
Oh, Todd, can't you feel the anxiety in both teams? Like, the way in which they hesitated there briefly. Do we base? Do we not? Do we kill for the core? Do we not? It means so much here in this game. It's one final game.
Kailaris, nobody died.
Nobody's dead. Nobody has died.
Nobody died yet.
15 minutes almost in.
Game when nobody dies.
That would be crazy. That would be actually crazy if no one dies. but it still ends. And we could have had it end there, potentially. We could have had it end there if there'd have been hesitation from Well-Met and they'd have actually just committed to the core. But here comes the rotation.
They had a really good fight earlier on the top right-hand side where they came in from behind. They're going to try to go for the same thing. This time, Well-Met cannot leave.
All right, well, they were trying to go for Nomi to start things off. Soki's going to take quite a bit of damage there. He's going for the Wandering Cake, trying to push AF Space out of the way. If they can get someone down whilst the Ancestral Healing is out of range, maybe that will work out for them. Soki's quite low. Healing Ward is there. Metamorphosis as he jumps straight into this fight. Quite a lot of AoE damage going down. Kessel is low, though. He shields and shifts on out of that fight. Gerdam Hurt also going low. He's going to die. He's the first person to go down here in this 15-minute game. Shinobu is on the back foot as well. They're chasing him down. The Mosh Pit was trying to lock them out. Hiruka's going to fall, though. And 2 kills on the side of Well-Met actually falling. Zoka goes down as well, and Fnatic pick up 3 kills in the first proper killing team fight of this game.
And at the same time, nobody on their team died. And just in that moment, while Well-Met has 3 heroes on big timers, the temples come up. And this time, they are actually going to maybe do even more than catch up here. I don't see them finishing the game, but this is going to do a ton of damage either way. If they just keep those temples, make sure that they use all the ammo on them, they're at least going to get, I think, 1 keep. The mules, though, is still at work here.
Yeah.
But against double temple hitting those buildings.
This mule's got to work double time, my friend. He's going to have to drop 4 mules for that to do anything. Well, there's the easy camp at the bottom as well. That's going to pressure on down that lane. So much damage coming out. They need extra men out here to actually help on out. The mule's actually doing quite a good job in mid, soaking up a few more of those extra shots that they really need to get rid of. But Well-Met has to regroup. They have to do something. They are in a really, really tight bind at the moment with level 20 coming in here for Fnatic.
Yeah, that keep will go down as well. That means 3 keeps down here, possibly 4 Well-Met who are moving up right now. But even at the bottom, there is some Siege Giants, you know, moving position, do some lane pressure. With level 20 up here, Fnatic, even though ideally, like on almost any map you would like to be fighting, keep in mind that if they fight with 20, they will be at an advantage. But if they die, if they somehow mess up, they've lost. Because then Well-Met counters and takes down the core like in few seconds, and then it's over. So you're gonna want to be careful about every single decision that you make in terms of fighting here.
And with Illidan now taking Nexus Blades, they want to finish things off in one full fight. Taking the demonic form, obviously, it's very, very useful to keep like sustained fights from going on. But with Nexus Blades there, huge damage will be coming out from Illidan once he pops Metamorphosis and gets it really into the thick of things. So Well-Met has to be very careful before they actually take a fight here.
I think the problem of Well-Met is that Fnatic has more sustain somehow, even though, you know, they have a bunch of like decently squishy heroes. Like Rhaegar plus Tassadar keeps them alive for so long with the healing wall, the shields, and the heals. And on Well-Met's side, there isn't enough sustain. And they cannot really disengage. Like, disengaging is just so hard for them.
They're looking for the bait on the hard camp.
I say there isn't enough sustain. There is actually quite a bit of sustain, but with some nice target fire, they were able to take them down before.
They're going to go in for this. Lowell is going to do a lot of damage. He hasn't popped Metamorphosis just yet. Hasn't gone low enough to really continue. Oh, but Soki's going to fall. Even though the Wandering Cake came out, Shinobu was on top of him with the strafe. He brings him down. And now they're going to continue precision on Metamorphosis. Is going to jump in. Nomi is going to take a lot of damage. He ends up falling as well. And at the moment, Well-Met is looking at a loss here in this. And they're looking at not advancing onto the playoffs. Fnatic, Storm Shield goes up. They're looking for the core. Ravenous Spirit comes out, but it's not even Annihilating Spirit here, as Hiruka is going to fall. And Fnatic, with a brilliant little game here in game number 3, are able to take down the remaining heroes. There is no way of them shutting down this core kill now. Even the Mule trying to land, but it's not going to be enough. Congratulations to Fnatic for taking the win and moving on to the playoffs. What a game. What a series. What a way to move on.
That was crazy, man. Almost 19 minutes long. Not a single kill by Well-Met. God, was it close. All of the heroes here, even at the end by Fnatic, they were very low on hit points, but in the end, I mean, looking on paper, I really felt like Well-Met was going to have more sustainability with not only ETC but Shen in the front line and then Malfurion behind. But I guess the execution from Fnatic in this game was just so insanely good that it just didn't matter. They just beat them in most of the fights, even though, you know, there wasn't any kills early on. That first big fight in which they got a nice lead on the top left-hand side with 3 kills to none, sealed the deal for them. Like, you get 2 temples coming up at that time, you already know that you're in a great situation.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So congratulations, obviously, to Fnatic for moving on. Really, really good stuff from them. And that basically, that rounds out our 4 teams actually moving on. So Team LDLC are currently in first place. However, the third game from ESC and Gamers 2 will be played but not cast because they obviously of the delays here that are going on. So there is the potential that Gamers 2 can move up. Oh no, I think they already moved up into first place. No, if they win that one, then they will move up into first place. So, and then obviously we have SK Gaming and Fnatic taking the 3rd and 4th spots here, moving into the playoffs. So we have a really, really good 4 teams in the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, that's actually pretty like Fnatic. Like I said, you know, they didn't make it in HCL, which was the biggest league at the time. Now ESL Major League is around. I do think it's the biggest team in the hero scene right now, which is still, you know, a fairly new scene. And this tournament is so important for all of these guys.
Yeah.
Especially now that guys, you know, like Elnixo got out of the way. You know, they had a few lineup problems. They decided to disband. Acer also like did really, really bad this season. And in the end, ended up last with Elnixo. It's actually insane to think on that. Like Elnixo and Acer, they were the teams that took 1st and 2nd in HCL, I believe. And in this league, things change so quickly.
Yeah.
They actually took last, both of them. So now all of a sudden, you got all these teams, you know, that really wanted it before, that struggled against both Acer and Elnixo. They are doing much better. And yeah, guys like LDLC, Gamers 2, and Fnatic, SK Gaming, they just do well. And I guess they qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the playoffs are going to be fantastic. Remember, those are on the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st. The first 2 days will be cast with myself and Kaldor. The grand final will be myself and Todd, Mr. Johan Merlo, here joining us on the cast. So, as usual, thanks for joining me, Todd. It's been a pleasure casting some Heroes with you. This is your 2nd ever Heroes cast. Has it been fun for you?
Yeah, of course. It's been great, especially that last game. Like you should link me the VOD later. I want to post it on like my social networks because it was a really good game.
All right then. All right. So that does it from us here at the Major League ESL TV. A huge thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure to follow myself and Mr. Johan Merlo on Twitter. Obviously, Johan Merlo on Twitter, as well as Kyle Aris on Twitter. Make sure to follow ESL Heroes on Twitter as well. ESL is going to be doing a lot more with Heroes. The Major League, obviously, just beginning here with Season 1. Obviously, Season 2 will be after our playoffs. And obviously, the relegation matches as well. So a huge thanks for tuning in. It's been a pleasure, and we shall see you next time. Good night.